Hi guys, it's Emily from Novell Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my August wrap up. I did better than I expected. Obviously a mum of 2 children, I had to focus on them this holiday, so I've not pushed myself into reading. I did kind of push myself probably a bit further than I should have done, so maybe in future I need to sort of probably make my TBRs a little bit less and try and put a little bit less pressure on myself. But let's get to the point of it. I read 19 books. Can you believe it? I certainly can't. One of those was an audio book. I also DNF'd 2 books. One of them was The Night Circus. I've tried so many times to read it and I can't get into it. It's not in the right place right now. Maybe I might get back to it. The other was The Bridge of Clay by Marcus Zuzak. Now, was an audio book. I tried reading it. I really did. I tried listening to it, but my brain is so fried at the moment with everything that's going on with the kids going back to school and being a mum, and I've got the Scooby-Doo next month, so I've got quite a lot ahead of me. So I just decided that I would be sensible, like Tom says, and put it away for now. I might get back to it. But anyway, let's get to the star ratings. I read a total of 1 2-star rating, 4 3-star ratings, although one of them is a 3.5, 9 4-star ratings. A couple of them are like 4.5. I think you need those halves. But only 5 5-star ratings. But the 5-star rating ones are ones that are going to be kept, loved and treasured. And I can't wait to tell you about those at the end. So I'll start off with my 2-star rating. That was The Four Princes. This was about King Henry VIII, Francis I of France, Charles V of Spain and Suleiman the Magnificent. It starts off when they were young. They were all born in the same sort of within a single decade. And it tells their stories about how a lot of the kingdoms were interlinked quite a bit. That bit I found interesting. I found the Tudor part very interesting because obviously I love Tudor, but it wasn't written very well. I found it quite jumpy. I got lost quite a bit. Really struggled with this. This is going back to the charity shops because it's not for me. Now the next one is The Things I Want My Daughter to Know by the lovely Elizabeth Noble. It was I've only just finished it. It was a really light, cosy read. It's about a lady who has died of cancer. She's not alive in any of this book, but she's written letters to her 4 daughters. It's quite generic because obviously the 4 daughters are standardly very different. All start off in a bit of a mess and they all have to find themselves and get themselves back together. Like you would have to when you lose a parent. I know for a fact what that's like. But it was very, very generic. You could see almost what it was happening. It had the good bit at the end. The only thing that gave it the extra half-star, because I rated it for 3.5, was the lovely stepdad of the girls, Mark. Now he was stepdad for the 3 of them, real dad of 1 of them, but he really made this modern because it's about also his grief. I found it quite really interesting about what he does and how he has to hold the family together. And I think that's quite interesting to hear the father side of it because we don't always give them credit. You know, if the mum dies, you kind of expect the man to fall apart and just, you know, but I really like the way he was written in this. It is a cosy read, it is lovely, and it would be like, I'm definitely going to pick up more Elizabeth Noble, but I may read them more from the library rather than buying them because it's not 101% and not one that's going to be kept. But I hope someone else will love this. The next one is The Rosie Project. I buddy read this with the lovely Nikki from I Read Past My Bedtime, and that made it more interesting. Now, love isn't an exact science. No one told Don Tillman, a handsome 39-year-old geneticist. He does about genes and stuff. I find that quite struggling. And he has he devises a wife project. Now, I did enjoy it a bit. There were certain characters in this were really nice. Rosie, the leading sort of lady, I found her quite strong, quite lovely. I love the way she is. I think she was my favourite character. Now, this is the start of a series. I've got the 2nd book in this series, which I will read. I won't keep this because it's not quite good enough that I'm going to reread it. Not 100% on it. It was all right. It was 3 stars. Loved buddy reading it with Nikki, and Nikki's an amazing lady. But it wasn't one for me. It's not one I'm going to reread, so charity shop can have it. But I do want to read the rest of the series because I think it's quite interesting. I think that kind of bulked it up a bit because you could see that there is a lot more rest in the series, and that could be quite good. Now, let me have a look at this. Oh, this is my other one that I've got a physical copy of. This is The Royal Diaries by Elizabeth First. This I didn't realise was actually non-fiction. It was actually fiction. I thought it was non-fiction, so I was going to read it for the non-fiction-a-thron. But it's actually more YA based, based at children. It's the lovely diaries of Elizabeth I. I think it's more like sort of about over the course of just over a year, and she starts off when she's about 11 or 12. And you go with her. She's quite sweet. I love the bits where she talks about her siblings. I think that was quite interesting, where she also talks about her relationship with Jane Grey. Knowing the Tudor history, I love those sort of bits, and but I love the best bit of it of all was the end bit, when you actually, the author's notes and the actual historical general truths about the things. Those facts were found really interesting. But I'm going to keep this because Mia might like it, and I know Mia likes history. Now, I did read another 3-star book, which was Looking for Alaska by the lovely John Green. I didn't like that one. It wasn't my favourite John Green. I found it very boring. It is quite YA. It's aimed at the American audience. It's aimed at the YA audience. And if you're that kind of age, that kind of location, you may love it, but I didn't. It wasn't one for me. So no, that's 3 stars, and I'm going to be a little bit more cautious. But the thing is, 2 of John Green's books I've loved. No, actually one I loved, which was obviously my favourite, Turtles All the Way Down. I am reading the next one next month, as you would have seen on my TBR. So I'm obviously reading the one that's going to make me sob my heart out. But, you know, it wasn't, Looking for Alaska wasn't as good. Now I'm going to go on to my 4-star ratings. Now the first one I will tell you about is A Year of Marvellous Ways. Now that was by Sarah Winman. I can't remember if I gave it 4 or 4.5. I love Sarah Winman. I love Tin Man. I love the one about the rabbits. If God Was a Rabbit, there you go. I remember the name of it. Those 2 books I loved. I didn't like that one as much. It's her second book, A Year of Marvellous Ways. It took a long time to get into it, but it was enjoyable, and when she writes more books, I'll definitely pick them up. But to me, that was probably my least favourite of all her books that I've read so far. Now the next one is Women of God by James Patterson and Maxine Petro, I think. It's my first James Patterson book. I listened to it on audiobook for the Thriller-thon, and boy did I love it. I am definitely picking up more James Patterson books. It was really good. It was really good to listen to it on audiobook. It didn't take very long. Literally couldn't stop listening to it, and I think I'm going to look for another James Patterson book for another readathon that's coming up, for Clint's readathon. So let me know, guys, what is your favourite James Patterson book, because I would love to compare that. And nothing too heavy, please. Okay, so the next one is The White Queen by Philippa Gregory. Now, you guys know I love Philippa Gregory's work. I love Tudor history. I love this book. This is my mum's book, so I'm gutted I have to give it back to her. I may well be getting my own copy of this at some point. This is the story of Elizabeth Woodfield, a young Lancastrian widow with only her beauty and steely determination. And she meets the warrior king Edward IV of York. Now, this is really interesting because it's the sets up for the 2 princes, the Lost Princes. So that bit I found really interesting at the end. I love this book. It was really, really good. It's one of the first Philippa Gregory books, I believe, so Julie tells me. She gave me the order of them, and I really enjoyed it. I love Philippa Gregory, and this was definitely a great one. I can't wait to read The Red Queen next. That's going to be my next one. So, Mum, I want that one next, please. By the time you see this, I might have already gone and pinched it off her. Now, the next one, I again wanted another light chick lit to mix up some of the heavier books. This was another Jane Green. Haven't read Jane Green in a few months. I love it for the chick lit. I love it for the cosy bit, and I really enjoyed this. This has 2 timelines, June 1998 and June 2014. And the lead character, Kat, you start off with her. You start off with her in modern times, then it goes back to the past, and then you go back to modern. It kind of takes it in turns what timeline you're following, but you don't get lost with it, and it's really good. Kat Coombs is struggling, so she sort of starts off a bit into her alcohol and things like that, and then her life goes full circle. I found it really good. It was a really good light read. I think I might well keep this one because it is 4 stars, and it's probably one of the lovely Jane Green's books. You couldn't predict what was going to happen. The ending stopped it from being 4.5 or 5 stars because to me it didn't tie it together perfectly, but it was good. It was a good cozy read and a very good summer read. Now the next one is When Breath Becomes Air. I read this for the non-fiction-a-thon. It took me like a day or 2 to read. Very short book. It's the tale of Paul, and I'm not going to try and say his last name. His name's up here. You can see it. Basically, he is a surgeon, a top brain surgeon, and he gets cancer. The prologue is someone that sort of is helped him write it in the end, and that tied it all together, and you get the story at the end from his wife and that tale. But you go through his life from in the first part when he becomes a doctor, his tales of becoming a doctor, and then you go back to when he actually finds out he got the cancer. God, did I cry on this book. It's a really hard-hitting book. It's very emotional. but it's really good. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it though, because I think if I read it again, I know it quite well, and even though it is 4 stars and it's a great read, and I certainly recommend you guys pick it up, I think someone else might want to read it and love it, so I'm going to give that over now. Now the next one is 9 Perfect Strangers. You guys know I love my Leanne Moriarty. Buddy read this with the lovely Simone and Clint from Reads Readers. It is blooming good. It's 4.5 stars. This is getting kept. This is loved, treasured and brilliant. Didn't get a 5-star rating because, again, there was a bit of generalisation, you know. Quite interesting. I think this is not a thriller. It's probably like a gentle thriller, mild one, whatever. It's got some bits where your heart's pounding like crazy, certainly for me because I'm a wimp. And some bits where you're like, come on, what's going on? Very much of a slow burner, but it was really good. I love Leanne Moriarty's work. And yeah, if you like her, if you like soft thrillers, if you want to be gently moved into thrillers, pick this up. And obviously, guys, check out my friends' channels because they're lovely. I'll be writing the links to everyone's channels in the end, like you all know. Now, I think to me, the 4-star ratings have been good. They've been 4.5. They're really good. It's going to be a tough decision which ones I keep this month. I'm going to check if there's any more that I've not spoken about. Oh, Why Mummy Drinks. I nearly had this on the wrong bit. Got a couple more. I didn't realise I got a couple more 4 stars. Why Mummy Drinks by Jill Sims. Now, I basically read them in the wrong order. I read Why Mummy Swears first, and I should have read this one first. It's really good. It's written in diary style format. As a mum, you can relate to it. Reading it in the school holidays was hilarious, and it kept me going. It sort of tells the tale of really what it's like to be a mum, and it's not always easy, and that you do literally sometimes need a drink. I can't because of my medication, but God, there were sometimes I think I really could have done with it. It's real. It's lovely. Jill Sims is great, and I will read her next book, but it is only 4 stars. Now the next one, Charlie's going to kill me because she thinks that I should have rated this higher. I buddy read this with Charlie all month. Simone read it at the start, but she didn't want to carry on. It is really good, Leo Tolstoy. It's probably one of the longest books I've ever read. We read it like 30-ish pages a day, which kind of I think to me is perfect. It is one of the classics. If you like classics, if you're prepared for a long read this. It's blooming good. To me, it's not just about Anna Karenina. You have other really good lead characters in it. You have Kitty, who I loved. And you had some other really nice people in this. Count Vronsky, yeah. He made out to be the bad guy, but he's not all bad. Anna's husband, to me, I struggle with. There is Lupin. I say Lupin. God, I'm talking like Harry Potter. But there are some other good characters in this. I think it was really good. I like this book. It's brilliant. I'm so blooming glad I read it. It's one to tick off the list, and it's one that's obviously, it's a classic. It's getting kept. But it's so good. But guys, I think the best way I would read this is to read it like I did with Charlie. Read it slowly, read it over time, because I had to check the notes on a lot of the writing, because obviously it's translated as well. You have to check what it means because of the Russian and all that lot, but it was really good. I don't know if I gave it 4 or 4.5 stars, to be honest, because even though I loved it, I found it took its time, and because it's so long, you have like other stories mixed in, and you kind of got lost at times, and I did struggle at other times. But it is good, definitely one to keep, and I'm blooming so excited that I read it. Now, I'm going to go into my last lot of books, my 5-star rating books. And I start off with the one that we all know and love. Who could not rate it 5 stars? It's Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I finally finished it this month. It is the longest Harry Potter book. Not my favourite. I cried at the end. If you've not read this, I won't give the spoiler, but if you love series like I did, you will cry your heart out. Love Harry Potter. Love this book. It's one of my favourite books. It's my favourite with the cover, although it's giving away a clue to another video I'm doing. But it really is the tale of his 5th year, of Harry Potter's 5th year at Hogwarts. We all know Harry Potter. I don't need to go into much detail, but it is blooming good. And this is where we meet the dreaded Umbridge, Professor Umbridge, who I hate with a passion. She's the one woman that I could easily rush under butter. Oh, God, I can't stand her. So now, I'm going to tell you the next 5-star book. I don't have it on me because it's a library book. It was Hot Milk by Deborah Levy. Now, the lovely Simon Simon Savage, he is flipping amazing. He is one of the biggest booktubers. He talks back to people. He responds. Lovely, lovely guy, and he talks about Deborah Levy quite a lot. So when I was in the library, I wanted a little short book to mix up this month, and I saw it in Hot Milk. It kind of made me feel cozy, kind of made me think something I needed, and I loved it. I would definitely 101% recommend it. Deborah Levy's amazing. I'm so going to pick up more of her books, and thank you so much, Simon, for recommending her to me. But now I'm going to read that. Now I'm going to end in the last 3 books. These are books that I am loving, though 2 of them I've got to give back to Charlie, which I'm not happy about. American Marriage. This won the Booker Prize Award. This won the Women's Prize Award this year, and I see why it won it. This is the story of Celestial and Roy, who at the start of this are newly married, and when one event happens, their marriage gets torn apart or sort of pushed apart. I found it quite challenging in that way, because obviously their lives get torn apart because of what happened, and an unfair accusation kind of changes everything for them. But the way it's written is amazing. This lady deserved that award. It is such a good book, guys. And if you like modern contemporary books, if you're prepared for some of the really raw moments in this, because there are some bits where you're literally crying your heart out and gulping, then read this book, because it is amazing. And another one Simon recommended, so definitely pick this up. Charlie's going to have it back. As much as I love it, it's not one of the ones that I'm going to put on my top list of the year, but it is great. Now I'm going to go to a book that surprised me. I didn't expect to love this. I read this for the Thrillathon, and now I'm going to tell you what it is. It's Blood Orange! I didn't think this was going to get 5 stars. I thought I was going to blooming DNF it because I'm such a wimp. But it is so good. It is possibly going down as one of my favourite books of the year. It is one of the best thrillers I could ever recommend. It is scary. It's a psychological thriller. You've got the law element. You've got the sort of crime element. You've got bits where you're gulping. You've got some real... Oh, my God. There were some bits where I was literally like, oh, my goodness, what the hell's going on? It is a definite thriller. But I tell you what, if you're new to thrillers, be warned, you're going to get scared at some point. It's probably tame for some of the other thriller people out there, but I loved it. I read it for the lovely Thrillathon, which Nicole from Beautiful Chaos of Books ran with Victoria, and I think there's another person who ran it, but I can't remember her name, sorry. Victoria, I tell you what, Victoria was lovely. I met her through that, and she's brilliant. But this is amazing. If you like thrillers, pick it up. And thank you so much, Julie, for giving me this. I'm keeping it. Now I'm going to tell you the last book that I read. And I'm going to show you it, and tell you what, this goes down as probably, it's going to go up there in my top 10 books of the year. And I'll show you why and who it is. It is The Binding! Ah! Julie gave this to me and Charlie. I don't know why she shaped Charlie of all people. Charlie, I want it. Actually, Charlie, who is the best sister in all the world, apart from Vicky, obviously. But Charlie, who is such an amazing sister, is buying me this for Christmas, because I blooming loved it. It is flipping fantastic. It is one of the best books of the year. If you like historical fiction, if you like magical realism, pick this up. Tom from Tom Reads Things loved it. He raved about it. Pick it up. I'm not going to give any more clues other than that. But seriously, it is one of the best books of the year. I loved it. It literally, oh my God, I didn't want it to end. It was so amazing. It's one of the best books of the year. Tom, you've got it on point. He's brilliant. Now I'm going to show you the last book. This is the book that I'm currently reading. Water for Elephants. Sarah Green. I should hopefully finish this today. I'm filming this on the 31st, so hopefully it will kind of go in my September. I think it's going to be like 4 stars. It's not 5 stars because there are bits where, oh my goodness, I was crying, and bits where I felt like I was going to be sick. But I'm really enjoying this. Charlie gave it to me. I don't know if I've got to give it back to her or not. Charlie, you have to tell me. But I'm really loving it. She got it right. I'm so glad I read this. Now, guys, I'm sorry I couldn't go into any more detail on any of these books, but please check out my Instagram page, and I hope, and that way you'll find out more about them. On Instagram, I believe I'm down as Emily Nobel. Anyway, like I said, that will be changing to Nobel Novels. All of them will change to the same platform soon. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and haven't subscribed yet, subscribe! Bring on my ding-a-ling! It's been a great but tough month, and I'm so blooming glad it's over. But I've read some amazing books, so I'm so grateful. Let me know what your favourite books were in August. I can't wait to hear your answer. Take care, guys. Bye!